mute some stuff here. There, we got it. Welcome out to the Above Average Baseball Show. Had a little technical difficulties right as I started. A bunch of stuff crashed. I had to get it back up and get going. So, gonna get going here. Have some fun. Here is the agenda. Didn't pop up. More technical issues. Here's the agenda for today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Do the sides even try? Answer that is yes. I'll answer that now. The owners are trying to get rid of minor league baseball players. Why? That makes no sense. Why? There should be sound now. There should be sound. Okay, got it. And then we'll get to the other points there with the CBA. Kevin Kiermaier to the Cubs rumbling. That's strong. We'll break it down. And then we'll get to a couple of weird things going on in baseball. Break through those. Then Juan Soto story. Get through that. Then Judge. He wants a contract extension by opening day. I'll break down that. Is it likely to happen? All of that. Hicks for Didi. We'll get through that. Then the last note to hand questions. So, decide to even try. They worked for the longest time. They finally had a meeting. I believe it was Thursday for 15 minutes. That's not a meeting. That's a meet and greet here. Go talk about it, basically. That's not a meeting. That was mockery to baseball. It was mockery to the fans. It was mockery to everybody. Okay? So, yeah. They're barely trying. We'll see what happens Monday. On the next meeting, it will be Monday. And then they're going to be meeting daily to the end of next week. And they will get the deal done end of next week. It's a computer issue, not internet issue. The mocking fans continues that 15-minute meeting. So the back and forth was always happening, by the way. This back and forth, blaming each other. The meeting for a short period of time, blame the other one for it. This was always going to happen. This was going to be part of the show. They're going to put on everything. It was always going to happen. Let me check over here. Yeah, computer error. There is a computer error right now. I do not know why. Let's go ahead and try to fix it a little bit. That will actually close out. Let's check over here. Sorry for technical difficulties. It happens at times. Drives me nuts, but it happens. You have to deal with it. It's part of this. All of it. Okay. Yeah, still showing a bad connection, bad internet on my end. I don't know what you guys are seeing. And that was the last one. Why is my face looking red? Well, let's keep going. Again, the back and forth, the blaming, it was always going to happen. This was always going to be part of the issue. It was for show. To put on a show that both sides are going to try to force the other one to agree to what they want them to agree to. Yeah. There's no way to avoid it. But again, their backs are now against the wall. The networks are getting on them. They cannot be losing regular season games. The networks cannot afford that. The owners cannot afford that. The owner sales are down. Ticket sales, jersey sales, everything are way down. So the back's against the wall. They're going to get the deal done in the next week. They have no choice at this point. So that's kind of a CBA update. Remember, weekly, or it's going to be daily meetings next week. I do not foresee the deal come together before Tuesday, end of the day Tuesday. Wednesday is the earliest I can see it being done. I expect it by around the end of the day Thursday to early Friday. That's when I expect it, okay? So, Kevin Kiermaier to the Cubs. This is an incredibly strong rumbling going around. I was told by multiple MLB execs the Cubs will try for him. How hard they try for him depends on who else they get. Do they get Freddie Freeman? And we'll get to that in a bit. I'll give you an update on Freddie Freeman. What happens, really, with Kevin Kiermaier? So the Cubs are poking around on Freddie Freeman. Keep an eye on that. They met with him before the lockout, so did the Yankees. There was no traction there at all. With the Cubs, there's at least enough that Freeman feels, okay, he could force something. He could get a deal done. So the Cubs are going to be a factor. I still believe he's going to the Dodgers unless the Braves match. I still believe that. I do not think the Cubs will steal him, and the Cubs are going to be a factor. Kevin Kiermaier would come via trade. He's got a big contract, not gigantic, but big. It's something a lot of teams could absorb. So, wouldn't it be too hard for any team really to get him? But I do believe he could end up with the Cubs, based off what I've heard. The talks started before the lockout. Where the trade talks started before the lockout. We'll talk about other ones. And, yeah, so kind of keep an eye on it going forward, especially once the lockout ends. Who do the Cubs get? If they don't make any moves right off the bat, you might want to keep an eye on it because they might take a big jump and go grab Kevin Kiermaier. And the Rays are open to trading him. So, kind of an update on that one. So, we saw several weird things this past week in baseball. Several things. You had a whole bunch of articles. Late Monday through early Wednesday, there was over 140 articles about Jasson Dominguez. And I include tweets in this. Total articles is about 80 and then a whole bunch of tweets. Why are we seeing so much? I'll answer that when we get to the next point, but that's a little bit of a weird one. The owner severed all ties, all communications to them for 4 days. They did start communicating again this morning with their front office guys and everything. So maybe we're starting to see progress towards that CBA. Maybe we're starting to see the owners give in a little bit. Okay? And by the way, with my internet, I have fiber optics here. So the internet's never going to be an issue. It's going to be a computer issue. Going off of Kyle's question there. So that was a weird one. And then the players put out several statements where they delayed the talks after blaming the owners so long. They delayed the talks. There was a meeting, I think it was Monday, when the MLB made their last proposal. Then they delayed the talks till Thursday or Friday, whenever that other meeting was. And they put out some weird statements. Okay, why are they doing this? What's going on here? Why are the people are blaming the other side for delaying the talks? And now they've agreed to meet every day next week. So there's a lot of weird stuff been going on in baseball. So kind of keep an eye on that. We'll see what happens. And now, getting back to that point. Yeah, that's a very good point. Not locking Freeman up is a major slap in his face. The 5-year, $125 million offer, what are the Braves thinking? Seriously, what were the Braves thinking? 5 years, $125 million for a guy you know is going to get $30 million a year? I think 6 years is too much for a 33-year-old. He'll be 33 by the time season starts. I think that's too much. 6 years. But $25 million a year for a guy that you should give 30 without even blinking to? Yeah, that was a bad offer. Now, getting back to a point I made earlier. Juan Soto turned down a 13-year, $350 million extension. This is confirmed. He confirmed it himself. It is because this comes straight from Soto. He said, I want to go to a certain AL East team with 2 gigantic outfielders. There's only one AL East team that fits that description. One team in baseball. It's the Yankees. So I did some checking. Yes, he is trying to get to the Yankees. Big-time Yankees fan. He knows the Yankees need left-hand power bats. That's what he is. He's only 23, 24. Very young guy. This one you would give a 10-year extension to the Yankees. Without even blinking. After the age 33, 34 season. Maybe even go 12 years up to 35, 36. The trade talks already started. I mentioned all the Jasson Dominguez articles and tweets. There's a reason for those. The Yankees are touting him right now. They are beefing him up, trying to make him look good because the trade talk started before the lockout. A few days before the lockout, the Nationals contacted the Yankees about Soto. They knew he was going to reject the offer back then. And they asked the Yankees, okay, what would you offer? I've been told it's going to be a big offer. One of the biggest trade packages we've ever seen. Which would tell me it'd be a Jasson Dominguez, Anthony Volpe-Peraza, Torres, Luis Gil, and a couple minor leaguers or two. I've also been told Patrick Corbin could come in the deal if the Nationals were to eat some of the money on his contract. So this could be a big way to get a number 2 starter, try to fix Corbin, all kinds of stuff like that. And it'd be interesting to see. And yes, I do believe Matt Blake would fix Patrick Corbin. So this is a big story. This is going to develop more as soon as lockout's over. Keep your ears peeled and eyes peeled. You will see stuff pop up about Juan Soto and a potential trade here. Now, I don't personally think the trade happens till after the 2022 season. I personally don't. He has 2 more years on his contract, not a free agent after the 2023 season. I don't think it happens until next offseason myself. But there's a chance it does during spring training. There's going to be a lot of trades during spring training like we've ever seen. A lot of franchise players out there that could be on the move. And he said Freeman's a franchise player. The Braves, fans lose their minds even more if he goes to the Dodgers where he's expected to go. Cubs, they might just laugh at him thinking he's going to a losing cause. The Dodgers, they would get furious, and Braves never heard the end of it. Braves would love it if Soto went to the Yankees as well. I think Soto ends up with the Yankees. I don't think he even approaches $500 million, though, in the extension. I predict it ends up somewhere around 12 to 13 years and $450 million. That's where I think it ends up. Just going off history and everything like that. So let's get to another big-time rumbling. Hicks for Didi. This is being talked about. The Phillies and Yankees talked about this before the lockout. It would be Hicks going to the Phillies, straight across for Didi, with the Nationals eating money to match the amount they would be paying Didi. Didi's making about 12 to 13 million, so it'd be about 3-4 million the Phillies would pay. And we keep an eye on sources because it's a source season. Sorry. This is a little trade that is being talked about. I went ahead and ran him, Didi Gregorius, through projections. The projection website, you can go to run through it. In 1,500, he averaged 25 home runs, peaked at 28, 19 at the lowest, on average for the next two seasons of the Yankees. RBI's right around 80, and a batting average right around 290. So it looks like he could jump up, being back in the Yankees lineup, being back in Yankee Stadium. That Phillies ballpark is up at Hitter's Park, but it will rob a lot of home runs that Didi hit at Yankee Stadium out there to right center. Right center at Yankee Stadium out there, I think it's about, 380? 375, 380. Out in right center in Philly, it's 390, and it's got a higher fence. This is a home run-friendly park. It's still a bigger dimension than Yankee Stadium. He lost a lot of home runs there. He will get those back. Odds this happens, right now I put about 25%. Watch the few days out of the lockout. Kind of see what happens here. See what rumblings pop up here, okay? Just a second. And that was one of the things I was going to get to when we got to notes. That's a great point there for Tim Trainer. How many moves are coming out of this lockout? Let's go ahead and move to our last news and notes and questions section here. There could be over 100 in one day. That's unlike anything NFL, MLB, NBA, any pro sport has ever seen how many moves you're going to see just because of the crunch. The NFL is a lot of moves, but it's over a 4-day period, 4 or 5 day period. Nobody's ever seen about what we're going to see that first day of the lockout. We could see 500 moves in one day potentially. We could see 1,000 in less than a week. And we're talking free agent signings, trades, everything. And as I mentioned in several tweets and posts on Facebook, on my pages there, the agents have been talking to teams during the lockout. Teams have been talking to the teams during the lockout. They've been doing it. They have deals set up. You're going to see Correa's one that might take a few days. He wants to get last offers the first day and kind of mull it. He's the one that might take a few days. We'll see Freeman, Story, Suzuki, others just signed it. Boom, 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 boom. Right out of the lockout, probably in the first few hours. And a lot of smaller signings as well. You'll even see trades that first day out of the lockout. I think we're going to see upwards of 100, 150 moves that first day out of that lockout. Just all these guys who already have their deals set up, just signing. Guys like Andrelton Simmons, Suzuki, Rodon, Kershaw, all these guys just signing, just a flood of them. Maybe even Anthony Rizzo, we'll see. He'll may wait for the Olsen trade because he wants to be a Yankee. Speaking of Rizzo. That was a source, but it was nothing. It was just confirmed what I was just talking about. It's going to be hectic. The few days out of this lock are going to be hectic. All the reporters, like me, all the sources are just going to be running wild, running ragged, trying to keep up with everything, keep up with all we're getting, trying to get the proper tweets out there. This move has happened, this move has happened, this move has happened, this trade is in the works, Story's gone here, etc. Now, with Trevor Story, he has it down to 2 teams. If I can get the camera, there it is. 2 teams. It will be the Yankees or Phillies. It's going to depend what the Yankees do with the Didi trade, if they do it or not. The Yankees are going to talk to Story right out of it. They'll talk to Story right out of the break or the lockout. It's going to be interesting to watch, though. what the Yankees actually do, because the Yankees asked Story to wait till after the lockout to sign so that he could be there for them as a big option for him. So I think that right after the lockout, they will talk to Story, then they will talk to the Phillies, and he will sign with the Yankees if the Yankees don't go get Gregorius. And if it gets rid of Hicks, I say go get Gregorius, because what would happen after that? The Yankees go all out for Suzuki, do everything they could to convince Suzuki, go away from the West Coast where he wants to be, and go play for the Yankees. Say Suzuki wants to be West Coast. Okay? We'll see. The Mariners, Giants, Padres, and A's are the 4 teams he's expected to go to. Dodgers not expected to make a strong run at Suzuki. They're expected to go get Freeman and pitching. And I don't think it'll be Luis Castillo. I don't think Luis Castillo is actually going to move. A source within the Reds front office said they think they're going to keep him their ace. As well with other pitchers, Sonny Gray is the one they want to trade. Yankees have no interest there. Don't even expect that one. That is a pitcher I could see moving to the Mariners. The Blue Jays maybe try for him. The Mets maybe try for him. Braves maybe. So it's going to be interesting. I do think the Yankees keep their offer. They'll make an offer to Story and keep it on the table for him. And then they'll try to get Didi Gregorius. So, yeah, keep an eye on that. Said something else I wanted to talk about, spaced out on it. With the Miami guys, Castellanos and Rizzo, they are talking to the Marlins. They were before the lockout. And if you think they stop you out of your mind, again, players, agents, were talking to teams. Teams were talking to other teams during the lockouts. Even though the lockout's going on, they were talking. They all know this. Okay? With the Oakland A's pitchers, that's what it was. At least 2 are going to move. At least 2 Oakland A's pitchers and Matt Olson are going to move. I think that's what's going to happen, from what I've been told. All my sources, people in the front offices at MLB believe that's the moves the A's are going to make is Matt Olson and 2 pitchers. They don't think they'll trade Phillips. They'll trade Chapman, anything. That's why the Yankees become the favorite for Matt Olson, is the A's see a chance to get Luke Voit back in the package and have a first baseman and still, for the most part, compete for that 7th wild card, which is going to come. 7th seed in the AL. There are going to be at least 7 teams in each league making the playoffs now. It's been agreed to. We don't know the full details on expansion of the playoffs, but we know that is coming. So, the Oakland A's going to trade 2 pitchers. I think one goes to the NL East, one goes to the Yankees. I think Sean Manaea to the Yankees, and either A.J. Puck or Frankie Montez ends up with the Mets or Braves, maybe even Phillies. Marlins are not trading into their pitchers. Do not expect that one. That's just not coming. That's not happening. So, kind of a rundown there for you on all of that. There are a few other interesting rumblings and stuff I put out there. Keep an eye on Carlos Correa and the Cubs. I would be stunned if he didn't end up with the Cubs based on what I've heard. I'd be very stunned. Just blown away, because the Cubs have the 8-year, $300 million offer on the table. That's confirmed on the table. And the Dodgers rumbling money, seeing Dodgers might go after him stuff. No. That is to pressure him into signing quickly with the Cubs. Okay? That's all that's there for. And, by the way, that offer from the Cubs for Correa has 2 option years to take it to 10 years, $360 million. Other things that should happen, and Joel Simmons to an NL team. That's what is expected. Rodon to the Mets or Dodgers. I believe those are 2 teams that he will end up with. Kershaw to the Rangers. He's expected to jump on a deal from the Rangers, get back home there, pitch a few years to the Rangers, and retire. If it's not the Rangers, it's going to be the Dodgers, though the Yankees are going to be checking on Kershaw. They're going to be checking on Kershaw. I don't think they get him, but they'll be checking on him. What else? Trying to think of other free agents that are out there. Gleyber Torres expected to be traded. Fully expected to be traded. I was told it by a rival exec who checked on him, and he said, Houston Yankees, he's available. He's in the Olsen offer. He's in the Soto offer. Yankees have an offer on the table for Juan Soto. I told you those talks started. It was about 3 or 4 days before the Nationals contacted the Yankees about it, because they wanted to see, would Jasson Dominguez be available? Would Volpe? Whatever. They were told that it would be Peraza, Dominguez, probably Torres, Gill, and the 2 low-level prospects, if they got Corbin and the National League money. So it'd be a complex trade. Nobody's going to release their source, period. It's a dumb question to ask. Nobody releases their sources. You ask Ken Rosenthal, Jeff Passan, they're going to laugh in your face. So that's all I'll say on that. But I will say my sources are very known in the game throughout baseball and that. Now here's a bomb I've been waiting till the end of the show to drop. A bomb shell. I was messaged by a big-time baseball reporter. If I said his name, your eyes would bug out. I'll leave it at that. Let you guys predict. I bounced it off my sources. They confirmed it. The MLB circles have been talking about me. All the big reporters. MLB headquarters, even Rob Manfred. And they are calling me the biggest up-and-comer in the business. The TheKingSource. And everything. And they are expecting a big-time reporter to jump on board with me and help me out with baseball. And maybe bring other reporters with him. So get ready for that coming later this year. I told you an insider was helping me. That's why I'm getting known throughout the MLB circles. I'm also an MLB scout. Now I will be umpiring baseball for high school and Little League here in Idaho Falls area, Eastern Idaho area. I'll be going around and having some fun with that. That'll be fun umpiring, especially as a scout, where I'm behind the plate or at first base at a high school game and I'm scouting the player at the same time. Close-up view. Close-up view, and I just get in my vehicle, car, whatever it is, write down the notes on the player I'm scouting. Say number 23, then go pull up their roster, find his name, everything. This player blew me away this game. You might want to check him out some more. That kind of thing. So get used to the TheKingSource being around. It's getting bigger. It's going to get huge as this year goes on. I won't say it'll get anything like ESPN, maybe not even John Boy huge, but it's going to get bigger. If the big-time reporter interested in joining does join, it's not one of the big baseball insiders, but it's a big-time reporter. We'll leave it at that. I was given 4 names it could be. So I don't know which one it would be of the 4. But I was just told one of the 4. It's going to be huge. It would be massive. You see him on the screen with me during this show. He'd try to bring in some football and basketball guys, and we'd have those shows going. And those are harder to get going. The basketball and footballs are harder to get going because I'm a baseball guy. I don't know as much about football and basketball. I know the rules because I'm trained to officiate them or referee them. But yeah, they're a lot harder to do. They're a lot harder for me to do anyway. We'll get those going. Remember, we cannot talk politics on this show or any YouTube channels anymore. YouTube will immediately kick the show off the air if you talk politics of any kind. You talk anything close to politics, they'll kick it off. The Tampa Bay Rays, they're going to be staying in Tampa Bay, and they're working on a stadium deal in the Tampa Bay area. The Oakland A's, they got a big agreement done yesterday. I don't know how many of you saw that. Massive agreement done yesterday for the Oakland A's. They will be staying in Oakland. So if Las Vegas gets a team, it's going to be an expansion team. And if you've seen the list of approved cities by the MLB, it is Las Vegas number 1, Salt Lake City number 2, Orlando number 3, Brooklyn number 4, then Nashville number 5. And Salt Lake City and Las Vegas being 1 and 2 is for geographical balance. They need more teams out west, and there's not a lot of cities to put them in. And the MLB wants nothing to do with Portland, Oregon. So that's not going to happen. If you have any more questions, ask them. So I think that's going to happen. And with the playoff expansion, they were talking about 2 expansion teams. Those will not come to about the 2026, 2027 season if it happens. But a playoff expansion is coming. It is agreed to. We do not know the details on it. That's why the director of the MLB PA, Player Association, refuted the reports that it had been agreed to. It has been agreed to, but there are no details known yet. They're not public. I checked into it. I was told it could be 8 teams, could be 7 teams. It will be more than 6 teams, though. It will not be more than 8 teams. And there will be a wild card round, then the League Division Series, then the League Championship Series, and the World Series. No updates on the Red Sox getting scandal in the last week, but that is going to blow up as soon as the lockout is over. So keep an eye on that one as well. Jock Pederson is going to get either suspended or a massive fine because that necklace he was wearing is a sexual innuendo. Google Jock Pederson pearl necklace, you'll see it. A man wearing a pearl necklace is the man gloating he dominated a woman. We'll leave it at that. You can go Google if you want to know any details. Leave it at that. So go for another minute here. See if there's any more questions come in. It's been a fun show. We'll get ready for next week. And next week we will be talking about the CBA deal, hopefully. Next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, will be the 27th. I've been told the deal should be done by the end of the 28th, to be a week from Monday. It should be done actually by the end of next week, Friday or Saturday, as far as the CBA goes. They're up against it. They delayed spring training games. They didn't actually have to. They can still play those. They add a bunch of doubleheaders. We'll see if they do. The players said they're fine. They just don't play them. They'll just be a little more rusty than usual to start the season. I don't know why you would be. I knew some MLB players who were never rusty. They could play 10 spring training games. They'd be fine to go for the really regular season. Once you do it so long, 5-6 games or so many at-bats, you're good. The rust is gone. That's something that wears off very quickly. To get to a full rhythm is a different story. I'll agree with them on that one. This has been the King Source with the Above Average Baseball Show. We will see you next Saturday, hopefully talking about the CBA deal and maybe some baseball moves. That is going to complicate it. That's one thing I do need to mention. I may have to cancel next week's show if there are so many moves. I just can't do it. I don't have time. I just cannot get on and get the slides made, get anything done. I may have to cancel next week's show, so be aware of that. It might happen. If it does, I might do a special one the following Monday or Tuesday. We'll see. But be aware, once this lockout ends, it's going to be as unbelievably hectic as ever. And I was just told it's going to be as many as 250 moves a day. A lot of them minor ones, trades, everything. So there's still thousands of moves to make by all the teams. One thing I did not touch on enough. The MLB is actually proposing to eliminate over 800 minor league player positions. It means over 800 minor leaguers would be gone. Either they play for free or they don't play at all. Brain dead. That's the type of stuff that would stall the CBA out till next year. Networks would hate that, but yeah, that's what would happen. So, this has been the King Source. I'm always looking at the chat. I can see the chat. I'm going to go check the other side of the chat. Yeah, I can see the chat. Been the King Source of the Above Average Baseball Show. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Remember to like and share and subscribe if you are new, and have a great day, everybody.